Silent Night, Deadly Night wasn't just another Christmas horror flick. It was a national meltdown wrapped in a Santa suit, cozy lights and carols colliding with blood, fear, and outrage. Snowy Utah streets, jingling bells, and toy store aisles became the backdrop for a massacre that sent parents into full panic. But behind the fake snow and candy canes came chaos. TV ads that traumatized kids, protests outside theaters, and critics calling it blood money. These are 15 creepiest facts about Silent Night, Deadly Night. And hidden in all that chaos was a crazy twist. Coca-Cola, the company that made Santa famous, was secretly linked to the movie that tried to destroy Christmas. Number 1. Christmas decorations turned into weapons. Every kill in this movie had a Christmas theme. Garland lights were used to strangle people, deer antlers became deadly wall mounts, and a sled ride ended with a head rolling down the hill. None of it was random. It was all tied to the holiday spirit. The director wanted the violence to feel like a dark mirror of Christmas cheer. That's what made it hit harder. People recognized the same decorations they had at home, just used in horrifying ways. You can forget a regular masked killer, but it's hard to forget Santa attacking people with Christmas lights and a box cutter. Number 2. From sleigh ride to Silent Night. Before the studio settled on Silent Night, Deadly Night, the movie was called Sleigh Ride. The name was meant to be a dark joke on sleigh ride, but Tristar wanted something that sounded more like a Christmas song gone wrong. The title change paid off. It instantly stood out. Composer Perry Botkin Jr. even scored the movie while watching rough footage on his Betamax player at home, creating that strange, offbeat holiday soundtrack. Everything about the production was low-tech and last-minute, but the new title tied it all together. Sleigh Ride might have sounded cheap, but Silent Night, Deadly Night felt iconic. Number 3. Linnea Quigley's infamous antler scene. Linnea Quigley's big moment turned into one of the most talked-about kills in horror history. She plays a babysitter who gets lifted and impaled on a set of mounted deer antlers. It took hours to set up the shot. Quigley was held in place by a hidden support rig balancing on padding while pretending to hang there. The room was freezing, and the scene was physically exhausting. She later said she didn't realize how wild the reaction would be until fans started bringing it up at conventions. That single scene became legendary. It's the moment most people picture when they think of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Number 4. The Coca-Cola Santa irony. Here's the craziest part. The studio behind Silent Night, Deadly Night was Tristar Pictures, and at the time Tristar was partly owned by Coca-Cola. Yep, the same company that helped create the cheerful red suit Santa image used in Christmas ads for decades. That means, in a strange way, the brand that made Santa famous also funded the movie that made him terrifying. When critics found out, they couldn't believe the connection. Reporters joked that Santa had gone from selling soda to swinging an axe. It's the kind of Hollywood irony you can't make up, and it made the controversy even juicier. The wholesome soda company accidentally gave us the most violent Santa ever put on film. Number 5. A squeamish director wouldn't shoot the kills. Here's a twist that shocks most fans. The director didn't even want to film the murder scenes. Charles E. Sellier Jr. was known for family-friendly movies and nature documentaries. He felt uncomfortable with gore, so when it came time to shoot the bloody parts, he stepped aside. The film's editor, Michael Spence, took over and directed the kill sequences himself. That's why the movie feels uneven. Some scenes look clean and simple, others feel way more brutal. Sellier finished the project, but it was the last horror film he ever made. The man behind the most controversial Santa in history couldn't even watch his own violence on set. Number 6. Unknown local cast. Zero star power. Almost no one in the movie was famous. Most of the actors were locals from Utah who had never worked in a real film before. Robert Brian Wilson, who played the killer Santa, got the role after his girlfriend pushed him to audition. He'd never even held a fake weapon on camera. The older actors came from small community theaters, and the nun was played by a soap opera veteran trying to restart her career. The lack of big names actually helped the movie feel more real. These faces weren't Hollywood, they looked like normal people you might actually know. That cheap, small-town energy gave the film a raw edge that accidentally made it creepier than most polished slashers of the 80s. Number 7. A Race Against Melting Snow. Production happened in Utah during spring, when the snow was already melting fast. Every day, the crew scrambled to shoot outdoor scenes before the ground turned green. They trucked in fake snow, used white paint on grass, and prayed the weather stayed cold. Some days they had to stop mid-shoot because the snow literally vanished between takes. The orphanage scenes were filmed inside an abandoned school, while the toy store was built in an empty storefront later turned into a gym. It was all rushed, improvised, and barely held together, but that race against time gave the movie its weird, gritty look, half winter wonderland, half meltdown. You can almost feel how desperate the crew was to finish before the snow disappeared. Number 8. TV ads that terrified prime time. The chaos started before the movie even hit theaters. The trailer showed a man in a Santa suit grabbing an axe, and TV stations aired it during prime time. Right between cartoons and family shows, kids saw it, freaked out, and started crying to their parents. Phone lines blew up with complaints. Some parents said their kids refused to sit on Santa's lap that year. Local news even ran stories about the Santa horror ad scaring children. Tristar pulled the commercial within days, but the damage was done. Everyone suddenly wanted to know what kind of movie could make Christmas feel dangerous. That 2-second shot of Santa with an axe made Silent Night, Deadly Night the most hated trailer of 1984. Number 9. Blood Money on national TV. When the movie finally came out, critics lost it. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert called it disgusting and accused the filmmakers of ruining Christmas for money. On live TV, Siskel even read out the names of the producers and said, "Shame on you." He called it blood money. That clip spread everywhere and turned the small indie movie into a nationwide scandal. Parents who had never heard of it were suddenly calling for boycotts. The studio thought controversy would help ticket sales, but it spun out of control. The public now saw the film not as entertainment, but as a moral crime. One angry review turned into free advertising that no one could have planned. Number 10. Parents picketed with carols. The outrage didn't stop at the theater doors. Outside cinemas, groups of parents started picketing, holding signs that said "Santa ain't no killer" and "Deck the halls with holly, not bodies." Some even sang Christmas carols while protesting to make a point. TV cameras loved it. The news showed angry moms and dads standing under twinkling lights while shouting at the ticket line. It looked surreal, like two holidays colliding. But those images worked. Cities started pulling the film completely, and a few theaters canceled screenings mid-run. The protests that were supposed to silence the movie ended up making it famous. Everyone suddenly wanted to see what all the noise was about. Number 11. Pulled from theaters in under 2 weeks. The backlash hit so hard that the studio panicked. Just 11 days after release, Tristar pulled Silent Night, Deadly Night from theaters across America. It wasn't because the movie bombed, far from it. It was actually doing well, even beating A Nightmare on Elm Street in some cities. But the bad press, angry parents, and nightly TV coverage made it look radioactive. Executives were scared their killer Santa movie would hurt their reputation, so they shut it down. Theaters removed posters overnight and ads vanished from papers. Ironically, pulling the movie only made it more famous. Fans rushed to find bootlegs, calling it the movie too shocking to stay in theaters. Number 12. A cult hit that still made bank. Even though it got yanked early, the movie made serious money. The budget was around $750,000, and in just under 2 weeks, it grossed more than $3 million. For a low-budget slasher, that's a win. Horror fans were curious, and controversy sold tickets faster than any ad campaign could. When it came to VHS later, the banned Christmas movie label made it explode in popularity. Rental stores couldn't keep it in stock, and every December it quietly became a cult favorite. What was meant to be a disaster turned into a goldmine. Being banned didn't kill Silent Night, Deadly Night, it made it legendary. Number 13. The poster that dared you to survive Christmas. The movie's poster did half the marketing work on its own. It showed a bloody Santa arm climbing down a chimney while holding an axe. The tagline was pure bait. "You've made it through Halloween, now try to survive Christmas." Another one read, "He knows when you've been naughty." Parents went nuts, but horror fans loved it. The image was bold, shocking, and impossible to forget. Some theaters even refused to display it in their lobbies. The poster didn't just sell the film, it created controversy. Even people who never saw the movie still remembered that arm, that axe, and that tagline. It's one of the most effective and infamous horror posters ever printed in the 80s. Number 14. The church angle and rollout strategy. Studio executives were nervous about the orphanage scenes with strict nuns and a cruel mother superior. They knew that could upset religious groups, so they tried to be smart with the release. The plan was to start showing the movie in smaller cities first, mostly in Protestant areas, and save Catholic-heavy regions for later. But that strategy failed fast. The loudest backlash came from parents, not churches. By the time the first protest hit TV, it didn't matter where the movie played. Everyone had an opinion. Even the lead actor later said it should have come out around Halloween instead of Christmas. The release plan was careful on paper, but the Santa outrage had already escaped the bottle. Number 15. Built to be a holiday slasher franchise. The producers never meant this to be a one-off. Their pitch was simple: make a cheap horror movie every year around Christmas, just like Friday the 13th did with Summer Camp. They even tossed around sequel ideas before the first one hit theaters, but after the massive backlash, Tristar dropped out completely. Still, that outrage gave the franchise a weird kind of power. The movie became famous for being the one they tried to ban, and that reputation helped future sequels get made anyway. Over the years, Silent Night, Deadly Night spawned multiple follow-ups, remakes, and endless debate. What started as a small Christmas slasher turned into one of horror's most notorious holiday brands. In the end, Silent Night, Deadly Night became more than a movie. It became a symbol of outrage, censorship, and cult success. What started as a small-budget slasher turned into one of the biggest holiday scandals of the 80s. Ads got banned, parents protested, and the studio panicked, but the legend only grew stronger. Every December, horror fans still revisit it, drawn to the movie that almost destroyed Christmas. It's messy, controversial, and unforgettable. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more shocking facts about classic horror movies.